You know, this is the time where I have to say that we have not had any mic malfunctions.
Why would you want to say that
I'm
now?
just saying we haven't had any mic malfunctions since we've made these changes. So I'm feeling pretty good. Welcome to Conversing and Relating. I'm Life Coach Hughes,
I'm April Autumn.
and we are glad to have you guys here today. So,
Hey, happy Memorial Day weekend.
happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for tuning in to us, watching our show. I know you could be out there living a vida loca, but you're tuning into our show, so we definitely appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Are we enjoying the Memorial Day weekend so far?
We are. We went to a wonderful gathering yesterday. Ty Mills, thanks for the invite up in Cyprus. He was doing a little cigar, not little. I'm not, because it was not little.
It was not
I
little.
mean, it was like
It was massive.
cars all in the neighborhood and
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
He had a gathering at his home where like people were just eating and drinking and smoking cigars in lieu of Houston Cigar Week this weekend, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so some of the vendors were there. We made some really cool connections. So it was really good. And of course, we saw some old friends from Houston Tillotson University. Go Rams. Okay.
I have no idea what that means.
That's okay. You will.
I have no idea what that
You will.
means. However, it is all good. We did have a good weekend. That was a
did.
good gathering of the minds. Just think of a, invite only barbecue, right? The food was amazing. Cabbage was off the hook. I still got a plate in the refrigerator. 2 plates, actually.
3.
3?
Yeah.
2. Oh, well, yeah. One was yours, though.
Mhm.
2. I have 2. She has 1. But we have some plates in there, and I still can't wait to get to it. And we've been invited out to go hang out with one of our new friends, Mr. Willie from Big Willie Cigars out there in Memphis.
Mr. Willie.
I don't know if he's tuning in yet, but he's at the all-white party right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I cannot forget about Queen.
Queen.
Hey sis, how you doing with
St.
us?
Louis is representing. St. Louis is representing. Shout out to Queen in St. Louis. Met her at the gathering and had a real good time.
Yeah.
Because she's doing some good things. And when you get around those kind of people and those kind of gatherings, you surprise who you sit next to and what they do and how they can work with you if you make a good connection.
Yeah.
And we made some good connections. We were able to talk about the ducking syndrome.
Yes, ducking syndrome.
Yeah, keep on ducking.
Keep on ducking, but do it with tools and strategies that will help you live a healthy, wealthy lifestyle.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yes.
So we made it was a good day yesterday.
It was.
We got an opportunity after the show to go visit and kick it and, further our connections. So with that said, we're going to get into this topic. Listen, we want y'all to really call in and talk and light up that chat, because at the end of the day, this is the topic that's going to rub a couple people wrong.
Right.
It's gonna ruffle some feathers.
Well, I'm hoping that it will lead to more people registering for the Black Love Algorithm Retreat in Houston and in North Carolina. So we have several people who have already registered. Good job. Great job. However, we still want more people for this in-person retreat. There's a date for North Carolina, the Raleigh-Durham area, which is Saturday, July 13th.
Right.
I'm doing this from the dome today. In our Houston area, it is Saturday, July 6th. Please go to the website and register. Yes. A lot of people are just putting their email address, which I love, and we will continue to send you free information. Yes, I said free. Free. However, if you are wanting to register for the retreat, you have to register.
Got to register, and you should register, especially if you're a couple, because again, it's a good networking event. It's a good event to bring couples closer together, and we're trying to help couples find their rhythm, find their Black Love algorithm, so they can be in sync and in tune with each other and cultivate healthy relationships that possibly lead to healthy marriages. And if they're already in healthy marriages, we hope to cultivate healthy marriages.
Not only couples, though. We want people who are single, who are in friendships or situationships to come as well. Because if you don't know how to be in a healthy relationship, maybe getting some tools and strategies to learn how to have that. Yeah. So it's important for you to come as well. We don't just want to see couples. We want you to see folks who are wanting and desiring that partnership as well and learning how to get there.
Yeah. We definitely want all people to come and either learn and improve or learn and get some information, because it's something that is needed amongst our community. And, it's very important that you show up and so we can show out for you.
Right.
All right. So Kimberly says, hey, y'all. What up, Kim? How you doing?
Hi, Delon.
Delon said, what up, gang?
Hey.
Delon is a part of that drizzle movement.
Don't get him in trouble.
We gotta talk to him in a way that suits his needs, drizzle. So we gotta be careful. What up, Delon? How you doing, brother? So we're talking about the topic is what do men and women really want? And I think that's a broad generalization, but what we're referring to is what men and women really want within the pre-dating, dating, and post-dating, atmosphere, right? Before we even get to thinking about marriage and everything else, we want to know what men and women really want.
So we're talking foundational stuff.
Okay. Foundational stuff that you're going to need. And a lot of people, believe it or not, skipped over in the process of getting to where they wanted to go, which is possibly a healthy relationship that leads to a healthy marriage, right? And if they're in a marriage, they probably have skipped over that process to get to a healthy marriage. No shade. It's just, that's what it is. And that's okay. So,
I always ask the question, right? What? Where did you learn that? Did you learn how to have a healthy relationship? Yeah. And most people are like, no.
No, we found in our practice that a lot of people did not learn how to have a healthy relationship.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's
because it's never too late for you to learn.
It's never too late, especially if you want to learn. Now, if you're stuck in your ways, we can't help you. We'll try to change your mind, but
we
not
try.
Really,
But if you are stuck and you don't want to be open instead of being closed, there you go.
Yeah. And that is a big part of what we're talking about today, right? So one of the questions that we want to get into first is a very important question. And I think I want our comment section and our call line to blow up with this question and what's their take on the question.
Right. Remember, you can call into the show. That number is 346-800-4639. I love the way it just ran across when I needed it. That is so wonderful.
Right. That's how it goes. All right. First question, getting right into it. Do Black men and women know how to date? Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
So, I mean, date-ish.
Like blackish? Blackish, date-ish?
Date-ish.
Yeah.
Hi, Oliver. How are you? Good to see you. Do we know how to date?
I'm gonna go out on a limb because I'm with the stuff.
You were saying it right because you were going there.
Yeah, I'm with the
You always do.
No, we don't know how to date.
I agree.
No.
I know you didn't think I would, but I agree.
You did agree.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't.
Yeah.
We don't. So a lot of the things that we hear, I'm aging myself again.
She's 17.
I've never been kissed. The Netflix and chill.
Okay.
Is that a date?
Yes, it is a date.
Is it really?
I mean, if you just want to watch movies and then get them,
So are we really watching movies besides the credits? Besides the opening theme.
Yeah. That's about it. We try it.
Did you really try?
We try.
Sir. Sir.
Yeah. No,
that was not the intention.
Netflix and chill is not a real date.
Okay, thank you.
Not in the beginning of getting to know somebody. Coming out the gate, it's not a real date. Yes, I will agree. Sorry, guys. I had to.
We're open, honest, transparency.
Open, honest, and transparency.
Okay.
Yeah. Sierra says, we know how to define our own versions of dating, but the healthy way, I disagree. See, okay, Sierra. Coming out the gay swinging, girl.
She was probably talking about that Netflix and chill
too. Yeah, Netflix and chill, yeah. Have you been a victim of Netflix and chill? If so, call our number that flashes across the screen at the bottom.
Call him. Anyway, continue, Sir. Here we go.
Oliver says, depending on what we consider what dating is, but my answer is no. Okay. So that's two people that agree. Okay. All right. Shout out to Brandon. Just got in the room.
Hey, Brandon.
All the way out in my yayo, holding it down, doing big things. So I would say no.
Oh.
Am I in the right one?
Yes, you are. You are here. Welcome.
Carmela, are you still sleepy? Did you just wake up, girl?
That's okay. She's here.
She's here.
And that's the important part.
And that's what we need.
Yes.
Wake up, Carmela. Look at the question. That's the question.
So, do we know how to date?
No.
Okay, so we established that. We do not know how to date.
Why?
Was it something that was prioritized?
Okay. So dating wasn't prioritized amongst us growing up in the Black community. I guess that says we weren't taught to be husband and wives.
I will say this. So I grew up going to church Sunday to Sunday. I feel like I had a room in the back of the church that I slept and just woke up there some of the time. And so with that in mind, when we would talk about relationships, it was very negative, like you going to hell.
Yeah.
Everything was you going to hell. You look at a boy, you going to hell. Look at a girl, you going to hell. Everything was you are going to hell. And I'm like, I don't want to go to hell, but okay.
I'm going to hell, but you got extra prayer sessions with Reverend Mo to give. Right?
Sir.
I'm going to hell, but he coming over praying for you unnecessarily when daddy ain't home. Really?
That's and laying hands on certain areas.
Right. You got to lay hands behind closed doors? That's what's happening? Really, Auntie? I'm just saying. Okay. Well, but I'm going to hell, though. Okay.
In a handbasket.
Right.
With gasoline draws on.
Gasoline draws on.
I'm sorry. So for real, that was the thing. Like anytime, any questions you have, you don't question God. Well, can I question you? No. Okay.
No.
So I don't know anything about anything. And so I have a lot of friends, cousins, people who, when they graduated high school and they got out in the world, they went buck wild. Rough. And they ended up pregnant within the first year. Or they ended up with someone pregnant within the first year.
Pull-out game was weak like days.
Because they don't know anything about it. You don't know anything about sex. If you touch somebody, you're pregnant.
Right.
What does that mean?
Right.
So in thinking about it, it was always wrong, quote unquote, to ask anything, to be interested in. And I'm just talking about sex. So if we're talking, what's a relationship? Then you shutting all of that down because that can lead to sex.
Yeah. Remember that time they would tell you back in the day if you swallowed a watermelon seed, you were pregnant?
My God.
I straight thought I was pregnant one time. I'm scared. Sir. I'm a guy, but I'm 6. I don't know any better. Okay? Thought I was whole pregnant, swallowed 2 seeds, and they was running with the joke, and I was scared out of my mind. I was like, I don't want to be a daddy.
Well, at least you didn't say mommy. I don't know. So you were like that.
I didn't want to be a daddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but definitely I understand that during our time growing up in the Black community, it's safe to say that we weren't taught how to date, how to be husbands, how to be wives, what's the proper way of communicating while dating, recognizing red flags. And I don't think that, and in some cases, I would argue that I don't think that our parents knew some of this stuff. Like they were making it up as they went along. They were
flying by the seat of their pants.
Right.
One of the things, remember we were talking to another person, and they were saying they wanted to be more like the pimp. So the way that they thought about women was like there's nothing that they could do for them except for sexually. That was it. And so from a very young age, he was just like, excuse my language, these hoes don't mean beep. They don't mean nothing to me. So
bro, this is a client of ours who just
you did not have to say all of that.
It's a client of ours who just, we working with him though. He making progress.
But those are the way that you are socialized to believe certain things about people, places, things, institutions.
Right.
The institution of marriage is for suckers.
Right.
So yeah.
Mr. Chris got the educator in the room today. Mr. Chris Caldwell is an educator. Y'all give it up for the educators of the day. Oliver says, no lies told on what we're talking about so far. Carmela says, when you stayed with one person for so long, whether it was good one or a bad one, you kind of lose the desire to date.
So within a relation, like I think people believe, like, especially marriage. Once you get married, you don't date no more.
Listen, whoever told us that, they need to have their kneecaps blown all the way off. Okay, because
that's a lie from the pits of hell.
Yeah, you got to continually date women too.
Yes,
he wants to be dated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you got to continually date the person. My wife and I, we have date night.
Mm-hmm.
I think every Thursday or Friday, something like that.
Sometimes twice a week.
Sometimes twice a week.
We do some spontaneous things.
Yeah, we get a little carried away. But however, it's just us and it's a date. And I literally ask her, or she literally asked me, hey, would you like to go on a date today? Right? Even though we both know, for the most part, it's probably going to be on either one of those days. But dating is a part of the continuous effort in helping maintain a healthy relationship after marriage, right? So I definitely get what you're saying, Carmela. Definitely get what you're saying. Kay says, the sex talk was, I don't want to hear anything about boys until you get your bachelor's and master's degree.
Clutch my purse.
Oh my goodness.
So let's talk about that. So by that time, let's say bachelor's, if you like just going to school and that is it, maybe 21, 22, I think.
Right.
And then your master's, let's say 2 more years after that, just going to school, 24, you're around that 25. So now you're ready to learn about the opposite sex and how to engage in that. Yeah. What in the world?
I think the scare tactic was used because as parents, they were actually scared about, they just got to mastering you as a kid and a teenager.
Right.
All of a sudden, time flies by, you're in school or out of school, and now they have to master you navigating in this world. Half of them knew that they didn't teach you what they needed to teach you. So the only thing they could do was continue to scare you with scare tactics because they themselves were actually scared, right? And they really were concerned for your well-being and who you are out here in this world, but they didn't take time to tell you that, you got to watch for this. These are red flags. Be careful of being too nice. Be careful of all these different things that life ends up teaching you through trial and error, right?
Oh, we got some red flags.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing open past midnight but
Joe Legs.
Or 7-Eleven or convenience store. Something like that.
No,
stuff like that.
Don't
trust nobody. Get ready. Everybody's gonna be raped. So just be prepared to get raped. I'm like, Jesus.
That's the worst. Everybody's gonna be raped. So they never told men that.
No.
They didn't even tell men about until later on down the line. I think in the early 90s or something like that, that men being sexually assaulted in a man jail was bound to happen.
Did you say a man jail?
A man jail. A man jail.
Okay.
Like it wasn't like back in the day they were like, don't go to jail because you'd be sexually assaulted. And then they turn around and tell the girl, everybody's gonna get raped. Just be prepared.
Right.
It was always forced on the woman. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. Everything
tactics.
You do.
Scare tactics. Mm-hmm. I get it. I get it.
Yep.
So she also says, by the time I get my master's, it won't be a boy that I need advice about. That is true. You're dealing with some grown man stuff.
Well,
it was before you got your master's.
Yeah. Before you graduated from high school.
Yeah. I say at 21, you're officially an
grown.
adult. Yeah. because you can do everything at 21. Buy cigarettes, vote, watch porn,
drink. Did you say watch?
Well, back then you had to go to you had to buy porn from the thing. I think. I don't know.
It wasn't 21. It was 18.
Oh, it was 18. Oh shit!
Somebody was trying to keep you away from the porn. Apparently,
I don't know. I was watching the fuzzy TV screens on Showtime.
HBO, real sex.
No, it was Showtime. Showtime had the.
Oh no, they had the.
Yeah. Showtime had the popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Sierra says maintaining vulnerability amidst dating.
Man, we're gonna get into.
We're gonna get to that, Sierra. Definitely gonna get to that. That's why I'm taking my man/husband on a date to Hawaii in August.
Oh, we going? Oh no, it's a date. We can't go.
Oh, you're just gonna flex like that on camera?
That's what she do.
Yeah,
she's a boss.
She does that.
She's a boss.
She cuts paychecks, so I get it. I get it.
Delon is the lucky one.
Yeah, Delon is that guy. That's why he says drizzle.
Stop it.
Liquor stores and legs. That's what's open, Sierra. That's what you talking about. Oliver says the only thing open after 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Not even midnight.
Wow. Right, you ain't go to midnight. Is legs and liquor stores. That's right.
Okay, shake my head.
Chris says, liquor stores close at 9 or 10 in Texas.
Yes, you're right. You're correct.
And Oliver is in Mississippi, so I don't know how he knew to close at 10.
Yeah.
Carmela said 21, not if you still lived in the warden of your own home. My mom. Wow. Again, generational. Okay.
Yeah.
Your mom's not teaching you how to date at 21, but she's steady being the warden and saying what you're not going to do as a fearmonger tactic because she doesn't know how to talk to you about different things.
What you're not going to do is be a hoe in this house.
Right. You ain't up here hoeing.
Mom, I've never had sex.
Right.
What are we talking about?
I know the pastor over here looking at you. They keep them legs closed in church.
I know.
See, Delon, I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you. Aggravated man said, out of pappy.
No, sir. No, sir. The shenanigans have begun.
They have begun. What up, Courtney?
Hey,
how we doing?
Courtney.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Kamara says, yes, that's why they left after 20. You know
Even
what?
if you don't have any resources, you're like, I'm going.
I'm out.
I'm going.
I'm out like your grandmama teeth. I'm out.
You know what, sir?
Because I'm not finna stay. Yes, I'm not finna stay. Being fast, meanwhile, you're just existing in your body.
That is what Black women are told all the time for just existing
in their body.
Sierra says, in your body.
And what it was they were mad because your body developed at the rate that it did. So they actually saw you as competition within their own house. We don't want to talk about toxic mothers, though. I'm gonna let you speak. Go ahead.
Ooh, that's gonna be another topic. That will be another topic. Yeah. So and be clear, as Sierra just said, young girls are over sexualized at a very, very, very young age because of the development. So you start hearing that rhetoric about being a fast tail girl or whatever at like 10.
Yeah.
10. So
just because you got breast at 10, like you wanted breast at 10 and these hormones to hit you like a tsunami wave and you over here looking, and then your mom or your auntie gave you that look like, how dare you look better than I do?
Go put some clothes on.
Right. Yeah.
I have on a whole sweater.
Right.
And jeans. Put some more on.
Put some more clothes on. Yeah.
I don't get it. Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Kay. So the question is, do Black people know how to date?
Fast tail strumpet?
Strumpet.
Oh my goodness.
That sounds like food. I don't know why.
No, it's another way of calling you a whore, but not calling you a whore.
Oh, fast tail strumpet?
Yeah.
Like it rhymes with trumpet.
You know what, sir? I'm gonna need for you to stop.
I know. I'm working. Yeah. I'm working overtime to understand.
Yeah.
DJ doing bad. Listen, aggravated man needs a hug. Always needs a hug.
Yeah.
He on the road a lot.
He's aggravated.
Yeah, he's aggravated. He really is. He really is.
So this socialization leads us to not knowing how to date healthily. So again, going back to Netflix and chill, that's what we're told that we are doing anyway. You've been a fast tail girl. All you want to do is da 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 da. So
might as well.
I mean, have sex. But since it's everything that everybody is talking about.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that brings us to, if you don't know how to date, we're going to tell you the top 5 things, that Black men and Black women look for pre and during relationship phase, right? And these are things that are very important. We did research like we always do when we came up with this list, and we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
Okay. Should we bring up the thing?
Yes, but I also want to remind people that you can call in at 346-800-4639.
Call the goddamn number. Press the goddamn button. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we've come up with these things, and let me move this banner right quick. We've come up with some things that we want to go ahead and look at with you, right? About what it is to date. 5 things men and women want in relationships, but they don't ask for. Okay. So the first thing is.
Oh, we did all of that cuteness.
Yeah, we
Look
did
at that.
It was so cute. It was very cute.
At the bottom.
At the bottom.
Yep.
All right.
Over. There you go.
Look at that. So
we wanted to start with the hierarchy of needs because we've been building. So if you've been watching, thank you so much, first of all.
Right.
But second of all, we wanted to make sure that you are understanding that we're building on something. So we talked about safety needs. And then last week, we also talked about love and belonging.
Right.
And so this is within the love and belonging hierarchy of needs. Right in the middle.
And it's going to focus a little bit on self-esteem too, and a little bit of self-actualization.
And it's really building off of that safety. But yes, you are right.
Yeah,
you are all the way right.
Definitely.
So yes.
Definitely. All right. So as we get into it.
So if you know anything about us, we use this poem a lot. And most people that know us are like, damn it, here's that poem again. So, and if you like this resource, you can most definitely have it. It's on the website, but I'm not going to read it. But what we're building off of is people having this habitual behavior. So we just talked about our socialization, right? And how we have learned or not learned how to have relationships. And so then it becomes a habit of negative behaviors that we do. So now we're moving to strategies and practicing these strategies. So hopefully this will give you some information about what it is to do next in relationships.
Right. And this is very crucial because breaking habits and habitual behavior takes time. It takes a process. It takes rethinking or unlearning what you've learned or not learned, and then relearning something that actually helps and works for you and with you. Right?
Correct.
All right. So the first thing is respect.
Now, the interesting thing that we found out is this is respect on the men's side as well as on the women's side.
Man, listen, respect looks differently for both men and women. And so out of the gate, one of the things that men and women look for just on the surface level is respect. Now, for women, what does that look like?
So it's mutual respect. So we are looking at wanting our needs, wants, desires, boundaries, all of those things honored, but also it is reciprocity tied into it. So I'm giving that to you, but I'm also looking for you to give it to me. So we are back and forth. We have this thing mutually understood. We have a mutual respect that starts with how we talk to each other, how we go about formulating conversations, the boundaries that we have, and as well as treating me like a partner.
This is during the relationship. What about before, during the dating phase? What about before the dating phase? How do women, for the most part, view respect?
It's really how you talk to me, right?
Yeah.
It's that, like, I have a name.
Right.
Can you call me my name?
Right.
Right. I've heard this
say
a lot.
My name, say my name.
Really, Beyonce?
You know that okay.
So this used to bother me. Say, hey, girl.
Hey, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. What's your name? No. Okay. I got one of those. Thank you.
You know, in the South, they can't say excuse me. They're excuse me. Excuse me.
Stop it.
Hey, excuse me, shorty. Excuse me.
No. No.
So respect looks like for women just basically respecting them because one, they're a woman, they have a name, just some common ground surface level kind of respect. Right. But as they go into the relationship, it's like they want the reciprocity. So the reciprocity shows respect or shows a version of respect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sierra. All right. Sierra, what's Sierra talking about? I also think understanding each other's perspective of respect, basing our efforts on those individualized perspectives.
Yep.
That's right. That is right, Sierra. Understanding each other's perspective. We were just talking about how we're saying the same thing as men and women, but it looks different for us as men and women. Yep. And in order for this to work, we have to understand how it looks different for men and women, because how you define respect as a woman is not how he defines respect as a man, but you're trying to keep that man. So you have to understand his version of respect, right? And then you have to be able to articulate your version of respect as a woman so he can understand your version or how you look at respect. So that's very good.
So what is your definition of respect as a man from the man perspective?
Well, from the man perspective, first is just respecting me as a man on the surface level. That's pretty much what men want on the surface level. It's just the surface level. Hey, I see you're a man. I see you're a black man. I'm going to respect you as a man, not, prejudgment of how much money I make, don't make, kids got, don't got, whatever. Just the surface level of respect. Now, it's like everybody starts off with an A, right? And we as men, we know that just on the surface level, we start off with an A, just saying that we're respectful, or we start off with what's called ground zero, where you can go negative or positive, right? So as a man, that's what men are looking for on the surface. Just respect me because I'm a man, and that dynamic. Like you want me to respect you simply because you're a woman, and that dynamic and all that comes with being it. In a relationship, okay, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. We want, as men, we're looking for you to respect the relationship first and foremost. How do you respect the relationship for a man? Well, some men, of course you have to have this conversation because black men are not monoliths, just like black women. In general, they want you to respect the relationship by not still acting single. That's basically it, to sum it up. Like there's certain stuff you did that you can get away with while you were single, but when you have a relationship and you're in a relationship that's a committed relationship, on the surface, generalization or generally speaking, black men want the respect from the relationship standpoint and to just simply say the things that I did that I was single, I can't do. That may be defined in different ways. For some black men, it's how you dress. For some black men, it's how much you go out versus not going out. For some black men, it's how you treat them and recognize them within the relationship as your man. So you got to have that conversation with that black man to understand where they're coming from when it comes to the respect of the relationship, right?
I think that also goes for black women. It's just
same thing.
It's the other side of the coin.
Right.
And what I hear you saying really is consideration. I want you to consider me as your partner. I want you to consider me as your man. I want you to consider me as your woman. And having a woman, are you willing to risk that? So that's the respect.
Yeah, definitely. So, Camilla says, I want interesting conversations as well as
she just naming the things that she want. I ain't manage.
Girl.
She ready. We on respect though.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yes.
Thank you.
All right. That's interesting because what's the next one, sir?
The next one after respect
is,
I don't know if y'all ready for this one. So let me help y'all out. Because this one seems to be the sticking point for a lot of people. Open, clear, and honest communication.
And this came up for both people again. Yeah, communication. Now, I think a lot of people just say communication.
I want communication.
No.
I want communication.
It's so much more than that. It's so much more.
He needs to communicate. Oh my goodness. He's not talking to me like, grabbing air. No? Okay. No.
So there has to be open, honest communication. I want to hear what you're talking about as far as open, was yours clear?
So for men, it was clear and decisive communication, right? Mm-hmm. Because men are, by default, they are doers, okay? Mm-hmm. They fix stuff. They say stuff, right? And then they fix it, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna get to the chat. So if they're doers by nature, we want clear and decisive communication. It's like basically giving instructions to a man, right? Mm-hmm. Now, most women would say, well, why do I have to give him instructions? Why can't he just catch the hint? That's not how he works. That's not how he operates, okay? No. You have to be clear and decisive with the man when it comes to your communication. For instance, we just said about dropping hints, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things in the clear communication or clear and decisive communication category for men is we don't want to take hints. We need you to be specific at the beginning, right? And when you're specific at the beginning, that gives us an idea of exactly how we're supposed to approach a situation. For instance, if a woman comes and she has a real problem that she wants to talk to her man about, and she just starts talking, babe, let me tell you about Sabrina at work. Right?
Right.
And she goes off on this tangent, but then he's like, okay, well, why don't you just punch her in the face? Or why don't you just move departments? And he's giving solutions after solutions, and she gets mad and she's like, but I don't want solutions. I just wanted you to listen. And he was like, well, why didn't you say that at the beginning? That's the clear and precise and concise communication that Black men are normally talking about. You have to tell them, babe, I need to vent. I just need you to listen. I don't need the kind of feedback where you need to fix it. I just need you to listen and have dialogue. I need you to be the ear that you said you were going to be in the relationship. Mm-hmm. So that's the part of communication that Black men or men in general we're talking about. It's got to be clear and concise and upfront, because if you don't tell us, we're going to automatically by default go to, I need to fix this mode, which automatically doesn't work for you because as a woman, that's not what you really were asking for. Right?
Yep.
What about you?
So for women, it's like we want you to communicate about everything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like the big things, but also the small things, because all of it kind of matters to us. We like that level of transparency, that openness, that honesty.
Okay.
And like it feels like when you leave something out, you're being dishonest.
Oh.
Yeah. Even though you might not be, intentionally leaving something out.
Right.
Like it might not be important to you.
Right.
But it might be important to her.
So if I don't want to talk about the rash on my booty that I got, because I think it's just going to make me look less of a man. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's a level of transparency. For them, it forms a deeper, or for them, like I'm not one of them.
Right.
It forms a deeper connection. So if you can share that with me, that says that you could share anything with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but we don't like asking for that because it makes us seem like we're kind of naggy and needy.
So what's the fine line? Because we do feel like that as men. Why is you nagging me? Why is you asking me about this rash?
Well, again, just like you are the problem solver, we default to caretaking.
So a caretaker versus a problem solver.
And so it's mentally, we kind of have to shift gears and be like, not ready for that. Okay, let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
But we desire that deeper level of connection with you. And that's what communication leads to.
It seems like communication struck a nerve because we got a whole bunch of stuff.
Hi,
definitely.
Girl.
Chelsea said communication is that one. Mm-hmm. Sierra said, yeah, that's the one. Sierra, listen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oliver says, when we open up as men, especially with the wrong woman, it can be used against us. Men stop opening up because women used our weakness against us. I get that, Oliver. I get that. But what that says is we have to make better choices in women.
Say it again, baby.
We have to make better choices in women.
Yeah.
We have to vet them more properly. We have to be more honest with ourselves about what we want as men and what we're willing to look for in order for us to open up. But that takes time, that takes effort, that takes, just learning yourself.
And we're going to come back to that emotional stuff in just a second.
Yeah, we definitely are. Oliver continues by saying they want us to be strong and not communicate our problems, issues for some reason. They still want us to be open, make it make sense.
Oh, we're going to make it make sense tonight, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they want you to communicate, but they don't want you to over communicate. Some of them, again, choosing the right woman, because the right woman will say there's no over communicating with her.
No.
Communication at the highest level for her and the right woman just takes you deeper and deeper into her love.
Right.
Right. And so for her, there's no limit. Her cup runneth over with communication.
Yes.
And she wants all of that. Right.
And then some.
And then some. Right.
Wake up in the middle of the night.
Right.
Baby, let me tell you about, and you be like, Jesus, where we sleep?
We got to go to work in the morning. Jesus. Why you won't talk about this now? Right. Like, he just supposed to lean up and be like, I really did feel that way about but it's 2:00 in the morning. Yeah, I know, but you won't talk about it. So let's talk about it. I understand, brother. I understand. It's about choosing the right one.
Yeah.
Sierra says, how do we be decisive without crossing into flat out telling a man what to do? That's a good question.
So with your feminine energy, and people don't like this, but I say it a lot.
Your feminine energy.
Wow.
Feminine energy.
There's a way to talk. Like, if I'm like, you know what? I didn't already set him off. He
closed like them legs that were supposed to be closed at 10. He closed.
But if I'm like, babe, what I really need is bam.
Bang, bang, bang. Okay.
There it is.
Making it comfortable for him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Creating that atmosphere of saying, hey, when you're ready, if you're ready, you can come and talk to me as your woman, right? As your helpmate, as your this, as your that. So you, in essence, become the caretaker to get to the problem solving. Isn't that problem solving?
Right. And I'm not one. Let me be clear. I'm not saying you need to caretake anybody's emotions. What I am saying is, as you develop relationships, and this goes back to Oliver's point, as you develop relationships, you create an environment where it's safe for that reciprocity that I was talking about that comes between the two of you, where you can talk about difficult things and say, I want to create this for you, and I would like for you to create it for me, and we create it for each other, where we can have communication about this. When I communicate, I like da-da-da-da-da-da. Right. What do you like?
Right.
And so again, it's more communication. About communication.
Do you think that it's possible for people to come back to the table after they've been not communicating in the right way? Meaning, if they didn't start off creating that space for the other, especially men, like what Sierra's talking about, can she come back and say, hey, I didn't do this before, but I want to do this now. Would that help out?
It will. It's just going to take a lot of building trust.
Okay.
A lot of building trust with that person.
Okay. So Sierra, you got to wait. You got to build that trust. You got to come back to the table and create the atmosphere that you didn't create at first, and then allow him to come around and tell you what he wants to tell you when he wants to tell you. You can't expect immediate results just because you started doing immediate actions. That's not how it works. I'm pretty sure you know that, though.
But I don't think that's what she's doing.
No, that's not what she's doing. That is not what she's doing. Oliver says, we are not mind readers. Just tell us directly what you want or whatever. I said that. That. Clear and concise communication. That's right.
Yeah.
Mr. Chris says, being that ear for a vent session without responding is weird sometimes. How can we show that we care or we're interested in listening without responding?
My favorite thing. How can I support you?
Or as a man, baby, I get that. I hear you. So tell me, what do you need from me in this moment?
That's the same thing though. But yeah, I like the way you said it. It was really clear.
Because I think if you recognize what she's saying as a woman and her frustration or whatever she's venting towards you in that listening session, and then you come back and say right afterwards, okay, baby, I hear you.
Yeah.
What do you need from me in this moment?
Right. Because sometimes it's nothing. It might be a hug. It might be thanks for listening.
Right.
It might be nothing at all. I appreciate you just being here, holding the space for me.
Right.
That's it.
And then sometimes if you feel like she's open to further talks about it, you ask questions that are open-ended, like, okay, well, do you feel like if you take this approach, you'll get this result? Or what is the end result that you're looking for? You know, trying to understand in that aspect and in that moment of what she's saying, and then still ask her, do you want my advice?
Yeah.
It's okay to ask your partner, no matter how long you've been with them, do you want my advice? Do you want my take on what you just said? And if not, pack it up for later.
Yeah.
Put that in your pocket, put a pin on it, whatever they say.
Yep.
And just go from there. But that's basically how you do it without necessarily, not saying you don't have to respond. It's what you say to respond, right? Because you're naturally going to respond. This is a conversation. Like, you're not going to sit there, she tell you this whole story, and then you just look at her with a deer in the headlights look like. And then she's like, what's wrong with you? I don't know if I should respond or not, you know?
Right.
So it's a way you respond and how you respond and what you're
Right.
trying to say, right? Oliver says, that's a really good response. I know.
Thank you.
I know. Sierra says, lost,
No.
LOL, my most despised question, because I feel like if I knew, I'd give that to myself. Well, see, you're approaching it from a stance of, I want you to fix it. But that's why we need the clear and concise communication as men at the beginning. Because again, if you did know, you would fix it yourself, like you just said. But if you had to take time to vent to him and you want to tell him, you got to tell him, babe, tell me what to do in this situation. Babe, blah, 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 blah. Babe, I need your advice in this situation. Blah, 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 blah. You can't just sit down and say, babe, let me tell you what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. And then he asks you, well, how can I help you? Or, you know, what do you want to do? How do you need me to respond? Like, how do you need me in this moment? And you're like, if I knew, I wouldn't ask you to do this, because you're mad at that time. You're mad at that time. And so what you have to do, Sierra, is understand that at the beginning, because you're the one who wants to have the conversation, you have to set the tone for what this conversation is going to look like. That way you can pretty much expect how he's going to respond, and you'll get the results that you need. Right? Camilla says, what do you do when you really want to be in a relationship but scared shitless to put your heart into after being? Well, you need to sit down and fix your heart. That's what you got to do. You shouldn't be in a relationship until your heart is healed and you're ready to go. Because if your heart is broken but you want to be in a relationship, that's like saying a broke person want to eat but he ain't got no money. Well, in order for you to eat, you got to do something to get some money so you can eat. So in order for you to be in a healthy relationship, you got to fix your heart first, right? You got to put the carriage before the horse, and if put the carriage, after the horse. Yeah. And so if you do that, when you do that, you give yourself a chance to find something healthy instead of looking for somebody to fix you, right? So that's what you do. That's what you do.
Oliver.
How do we fix our heart?
You get someone to help you on that journey to figure out, because some people don't even know what's broken.
A lot of people don't know what's broken. They just know they don't feel the same after a certain situation. Yeah. But that's where you have professionals like myself and my wife. You give us a call, you set up appointments, or you talk to somebody else who is a professional, and you ask them these questions, right? Fixing your heart, fixing your emotional status, you have to do before you get into a relationship, or none of these things that we're talking about is going to matter. Why?
Go on to the next one. Go on ahead to the next one.
To the next one?
Go on ahead. Not go ahead. Go on ahead.
To the next one. Okay.
Because I think...
Trust.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Trust. is important.
Yeah.
Trust is something that.
What did y'all say? Because ours was a little bit different, but ours was wrapped up in, I think, in respect.
A lot of y'all don't trust who you with right now.
How about this one? A lot of y'all don't trust yourself.
That's even worse. Because that's the reason why you don't trust the person you with. You don't trust yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk about it today.
So what's trust for you?
Trust means, as a man, what we're expecting from a woman. If we feel like we can't trust you, we're not going to open up. We need to be able to feel like we trust you with the stuff that is important to us and that we're new to navigating, i.e., feelings and emotions, right? With men being logical, we're not used to the feelings and emotional aspect of our male spectrum when operating in our masculinity, right? To find the balance. So because we're new to that, especially most Black men, when we do open up, we need to be able to trust you with our feelings. We need to be able to trust you with our emotions. We need to be able to trust you with our deepest, darkest things that we as Black men have been told nobody gives a crap about.
Remember, Oliver mentioned that about having emotions, having feelings, and I believe that correlates with trust. So if I can trust you, I can trust you with my emotions, with my deepest, darkest secrets, with everything that I have in me. We were talking about you using trust as a weapon. Like, nobody's going to beat me with this. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to give you my truth. And if you like it, great. If you don't, oh, well.
Right. Right. But that takes a certain level of healing and understanding to where if you're operating in your truth and you give your truth, you're not ashamed of anything in your truth.
Correct.
So when you're not ashamed as a man, you can give somebody your truth and you don't care what they think. It's just their truth, your truth, and they can decide what to do with it. You put the ball in their court. But when it comes to the trust factor, that involves trusting yourself to give them the truth, right? That's why we said a lot of y'all don't love yourselves, let alone trust yourselves. That's why you don't give other people the truth, because you lie to yourself every day.
Every day.
Every day.
About everything.
Right. And especially sometimes I would say in this factor, men and women kind of have an equal playing field in that factor, because there are certain lies that men tell. It's like it's unnecessary. Unnecessary.
Women too. I mean.
Yeah, women too.
But yeah.
But the certain lies is just unnecessary, and certain lies women tell is just unnecessary, right? So at any point in time, if you're starting out in the relationship or in the dating phase and you're already lying in the dating phase,
just stop.
Just stop. Let it go, because you don't trust. I'm speaking to the men.
I'm speaking to the women too. If you're lying and my favorite thing is be like, well, if I'm like, if you're doing all that, stop it. Just stop right now.
Because you still lying to yourself, which makes you lie to the other person. And at the end of the day, you're lying at such an early stage because you don't trust yourself. Right. So if you don't trust yourself, how do you expect somebody else to trust you? How can you demand you need to trust me? Right. You need to trust me as a man. But you don't trust yourself.
You do not.
Or as a woman, how can you demand that I trust you when I know you don't trust yourself? There's something about you that's off, that's giving. I can't trust this woman with my secrets, with who I am, with what I really am going through, what I'm really thinking, because it may be weaponized. Again, that goes back to vetting the person that you're talking to and making sure that you're dealing with the right person from the get-go.
Right.
Right. Right.
We got a lot of things fixing.
Truth. Sierra says, or trusting the vulnerability that one has in fully developed relationship. That's true. But that trust starts early. That trust starts early before the fully developed relationship. As a matter of fact, that trust builds to the fully developed relationships. Carmilla says, well, don't he has to be healed as well? Unhealed people don't trust.
Correct.
That is correct. Have to be healed as well. But if you're healed as a woman, you're able to recognize if somebody else is healed.
Or not healed. And if they are not, to move around.
That's why you shouldn't try to do it when you're broken yourself, because you're not even going to see when somebody else is broken. Mm-hmm. You can only see both bad and good when you are completely healed and ready to go.
Yep.
Right? Oliver says both parties have to be healed, otherwise most likely it's not going to work.
There
Oliver, stop trying to take my job, bro.
Go to the next. Oh, go ahead.
Why we didn't get it from women's point of view?
Well, it's something different.
It's something different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I know.
All right.
Right.
All right.
But it ties into this. And I think for women, it's more about going deeper.
It's going deeper.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all like layers. So
we do.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to go deeper.
It's that active listening.
Ah.
Yeah, it's the active listening.
Active listening.
So it
is a form of trust.
I think so, because if I trust you and you trust me,
right?
Look, you see how you're doing me right now. Yeah. You're looking at me. You're totally engaged with me. Totally. You're hearing everything that I'm saying. Everything. You're not in your phone. You're not moving around. No. You are giving me your undivided attention.
You got it.
Again, for me, that is deepening the connection.
Oh, it's deep.
It is.
I'm thinking about the connection. It's deep.
So yeah, it's not just you like me talking to you, but you're actually hearing what I'm saying. It builds on the one from before with that open and honest, clear communication. Like I said, that's in that trust.
Right.
So it's just adding another layer, that active listening.
So when a woman is, for a man or for a woman to feel like a man is trusting her, or she can trust the man, he has to be able to actively listen.
Mm-hmm. He is there.
He's there, engaged.
Mm-hmm.
So men, that's a jewel. Engage in a conversation. Engage in the conversation. Be active listening and respond with the correct response when it's time to have that response. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Look who joined.
Hi, Mom. That's my mommy.
Shout out to mother-in-law. She stopped by, say hey. Thanks, Mom, showing up.
Thank you.
Thank you for the support. So active listening for men, that's what you should do. And knowing the right responses for if she's open and concise with communication.
I don't know if it's a right response. It's just being engaged. Like I feel like that helps us. It's going to build on the next one. And you'll see why. We remember when we were talking about this, that active listening, you were like, oh, that. So go ahead and go on to the next one.
Go on to the next one. Okay. I don't know if they're ready for the next one.
I don't think so, but we're going to do it anyway because that's what we do.
That's what we do. Woo!
Yeah.
Emotional awareness and vulnerability.
Right.
Fellas, don't run. Don't run yet.
Mm-mm.
Don't run yet. Let's let this play out. Don't run yet. Okay. Emotional awareness and availability.
Right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we talk a lot about this, that women want men to be emotionally aware and available.
Yeah.
But we just heard Oliver talk about it being weaponized against them.
Right. It's been weaponized. Sarah says, yes, response is more than simple answers. We want to feel like you want to participate and not just be expected, not for just an expected reward.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be concise in the beginning. Because again, if you already knew the answer, you wouldn't ask us. So you got to be concise in the beginning.
Don't be jumping on Sierra.
I love Sierra.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, emotional availability.
Emotional availability. How and what does emotional availability look like? Okay, so what if you're active listening, but you know she was in the wrong? Like she was rude to her waitress, but I can't respond.
Okay. You out of the moment. Get out of the heat first.
Yeah.
Don't try to do this in the heat.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be all of that will be turned on you. Babe, I heard everything you said.
Right.
I'm going to have to disagree with you because that was kind of rude. And my feelings for it being rude was da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now.
Or you can say, after the situation has kind of calmed down a little bit, you can say, hey, do you think that was the right response?
Love it.
Do you think that was the right response based on the situation? And if she goes, you don't have my back. I'm not saying I don't have your back. I'm just saying we're in public, was that the right response? Or based off the area we're in or the situation we're in, did it garner that kind of response? Right? And you should respond, because at that point in time, it's not that kind of a dialogue where she's not looking for a response. It's the kind of dialogue where you're having these self-check moments with your partner to where you can understand, hey, we're out and about. We're supposed to have a good time. The waiter may have been whatever. You may have felt slighted. You may feel right, but is that the right response for right now? Is that going to help our situation?
Right. And you should be able to do that with your partner.
Yeah.
And that should build more trust. Again, that open, honest, that's why I linked it with trust, because you should be able to be my mirror and reflect, say, hey, let me show you this thing that wasn't so cute. Let's talk about that. How do we not get to that place again? What was it that triggered you? Like really figuring out what was going on and how to get to a different place. You should be able to have boundaries within your relationships and parameters and be able to talk about it.
And what it is also, man, don't get pulled into the conversation where you get triggered and now you both are arguing. Because it wasn't in that scenario that Chris was talking about, it wasn't your argument or situation to begin with, right? So now you've been pulled in and now you're in an argument over something that she did simply because she flipped it back on you. Understand and remember and know what gaslighting is, avoiding tactics that women and men take, right? Know those different things that happen so that way you can avoid an argument at all times.
It's amazing that you just talked about gaslighting and all of that. We're about to get there.
Me personally, I am like address me later, but not in public.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Don't have this heated discussion in public.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to address you later. We're going to address. But see, the thing is, are you able to be addressed later? Because when we address you, a lot of times it's like, oh, me? I didn't do that. Because you're not watching and aware of yourself, of what happened. And men do that too. What you mean I said that? Yeah, I'm sitting there watching you. You did that. This is exactly what you did, right? Mm-hmm. So make sure when you address them, one, comes from a place of love. Two, don't get sucked in an argument. Recognize and realize when you're being gaslit. And three, if all else fails, bail on the conversation and just say, hey, I love you. I feel this is getting heated. We'll talk about this later. We can drop the subject. We'll talk about it at a later date.
Yep.
Me as well, Sierra. Although allow me to collect my thoughts. Most of the time, I recognize my wrong. Well, that's good. A lot of people don't.
Yep.
A lot of people don't. Same. Yep. Okay.
Delon.
No smoke. No smoke. Oh, listen, brother, you got to go into the fire sometimes.
All right.
You got to go into the fire.
Emotional awareness and availability, my love. What is that for men?
Emotional awareness and availability for men. We are expecting, this one is the only one that's really like reverse, right? We're expecting for women generally to not take our emotional awareness or lack thereof, make fun of it, downplay it, minimize it, and not knowing how to be emotionally available sometimes to use that against us and beat us over the head with it, right?
And that's why I use this picture, like turning from, like not that you won't have an argument or anything like that,
right?
But like really being open when you are being vulnerable, not just being like, forget you then, and turning my back to you or walking away from the conversation. Like not expecting you to have any emotions about the things that we're talking about.
Right. I think most men get frustrated because they think the woman doesn't understand that they're having trouble processing, understanding, and dealing with their emotions in real time, right? Which is what most men do when they get frustrated about not being able to articulate their emotions or what they're feeling, or they feel like they're being attacked for not being emotional available when they don't know how to be emotionally available and they weren't taught, and the woman in the relationship is not teaching them how to be emotionally available. They feel like, oh, well, since that's the case, I might as well not be emotionally available at all.
Right.
I might not be, present at all in certain things that's going on emotionally that you want me to, because the last time I tried, you was blah, 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 blah.
You're being too emotional.
Right. Right. So why try if I'm being too emotional?
Right.
And that's what emotional availability and awareness is for men. Right. It's a reverse thing. We want to know that the woman is going to help guide us through this process, create a safe space for us in this process, and allow us the time to articulate our emotions, which we are not used to doing in the get-go.
Will you please go to the next slide? Because I think it speaks volumes to what you just said.
Oh my God. Is this what women think?
No. It's more so for you.
Okay.
So look who's talking. And what is she doing?
Playing finger footsies.
Yes. She's just connecting and listening.
Okay.
She's touching him. She's connecting with him, hearing him, not judging him, standing in that space with him.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's what it is. It's not like
right
attitude. Can you hurry up?
Right.
Like giving time to process again.
Right.
Because you're not used to this.
Right.
You need that space.
Do you think women need to approach it and say, and jump ahead of it and say, listen, I know as a man you may not be used to your emotions, right? If they've earned the spot in the relationship, is it appropriate for a woman to say, I'm going to help guide you through this process?
I would say ask.
Oh, ask. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, is it, I feel like you're getting frustrated, and you have every right to get frustrated. I can tell you're feeling some things.
Right.
Can I sit with you and help you process through this?
Right. Right.
That's like, what do you think? No, as a man,
I think that, because women have the unique ability, because that's what happens when you're operating in your femininity. You get in tune with your emotions and that side of you. And that's your leading point. That's who you are. As men, we operate in logic. So we have the emotional capabilities. We just don't know how to use it. That's like saying you have a tool, but you don't know how to use it because there's no instructions.
Right.
Right. Just like for women, there's no instructions for thinking logically.
Right.
That's when that man comes in and says, okay, I know you're feeling this kind of way, but realistically, you can't do blah, 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 blah.
Now, let me be clear. There are lots of women are going to hear that, be like, I am a logical creature. Right. I'm not saying that women cannot be logical.
No, yeah.
You're not saying
I'm not saying they can't be. I'm saying that's not their best suit.
And that's when we're talking about when you are elevated, when you are in your emotions, typically it's not thinking the things out.
Right.
It is usually you are grabbing an emotion. And we are human.
Right.
Whether you know how to use, we as female identified folks know how to utilize emotions and navigate them more.
Right.
So than male identified folks do.
Because it's your best suit. And that's what I'm saying. Like It's a tool that you were innately born with. Even if you don't know and nobody taught you, you inherently know how to process your emotions. That's what you figure out. Just like we as men, even though we're not taught to use logic all the time, we know how to use logic eventually because that's just the way we operate.
Right.
So
this emotional availability and awareness that women would like is being receptive and responsive to partners' feelings, as well as being able to share their own feelings. Right. So
give me a little bit more of that.
So I'm sharing, but I also want you to share. So again, it goes back to creating that environment for sharing.
Is it the part? Right? Is what we're saying is, if the man is having an emotional situation or is dealing with some feelings, does the woman share her experience in the matter?
No, what I'm saying is a woman wants to be able to share her emotions.
Right.
Right. But also you to share yours.
Okay.
That's it.
It's like a back and forth.
Reciprocity.
Right.
It always comes back to that.
Okay.
Okay. They want more than just a sounding board, not for you to just, like you said, just sit there and
Yeah. Yeah.
Interrupt the woman.
Oh, well, you know.
I don't know what that means.
I rubbed a woman the wrong way. My bad. It's what I do.
Yep.
It's what I do.
Again, this leads to deeper emotional bonding, serves as safety.
Safety for both?
For women.
For women.
But hopefully it creates an environment where men feel safe enough to give them their emotion.
So it sounds like in this aspect, from a woman's point of view, she wants to lead by example in order for him to do the same thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So most women don't do this because they are afraid of burdening their partner with their emotions, because women are always seen as, oh my gosh, you're such emotional creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we are emotional, right? We want to be able to come to you and be emotional.
Right.
But we also want you to come to us and be emotional too, because we know you have emotions.
Right.
So
is it appropriate for a man to say, I want to be emotional with you together? Does that help the situation for women?
Say more.
Like if a man is saying, hey, I want to be emotional with you. And then she's like, that's too much. Back it up, Cleaver. You know.
Wow. Wow. No, I would think.
What I'm saying is, does she want to lead the way as far as setting the emotional, standard?
It just kind of depends on those two people, or however many is in the relationship.
Okay. And there it is.
And there it is. I'm guessing we're talking about the rubbing the wrong way, but hey, we said this to begin with. This is going to be kind of a conversation, but you want to know. You want to know.
Nah, because if I'm emotional and vice versa, who's strong at that point?
Oh my gosh, it's time to
bye.
So let's get this out of the way. So one of the things that I have been doing a lot of research on, especially for Black women, is this whole resiliency thing that we have to do. You don't have to do that. And so again, you as a woman can cry, you can you can do all of those things.
She took it there.
Because you are human. But just like women, men are human. They can cry. They have feelings. They have all of the range of emotions. But what we have been socialized to believe in our society is to shut men down. You cannot cry. Be a man. Beat your chest. The only emotion that you can express is anger, which leads to people beating up people. A lot of our African-American men are in jail because of that one emotion that they have been taught, and they go out and express it. So how then do we change? Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
I'm just saying, because it's that way of thinking that tells a man, I can't trust you. But you want him to be open and emotional with you and talk to you, and you want to get a deeper connection with him. But it involves tapping into his emotions. It involves tapping into his feelings. And if you guys are both emotional at that point in time, who's to say that neither one of you are strong
or weak?
Right, because what you're saying is, I'm allowed to be weak because I'm a woman. I'm allowed to be emotional because I'm a woman, but you're not allowed to be emotional because I need you to be strong for me. But then you're an independent woman. You don't need no man, and he needs to be like, there's a lot of contradicting facts behind that one statement. Emotions and feelings do not breed weakness. It breeds strength if it's recognized.
Right.
And what you have to do is recognize that if that man is emotional with you, he literally cares enough about what you're going through to sympathize and empathize with you.
And stand with you in that moment. That doesn't mean that, oh, we all just in the floor and can't do nothing about it. It means that, okay, we are empathizing and sympathizing with each other and we can move forward. They can cry at the same time too.
They can cry at the same time. Yes. They can cry. They can be emotional with you at the same time. This is why you're having the difficult situations that you're having. Because again, you have put the cart before the horse.
It's been so that socialization has run so deep that, women have been told that a man don't cry, or if he does cry, he need to do it in his closet or in the shower or somewhere else. And I'm like, no, he can cry wherever he want to cry.
Come on now.
And whenever he wants to cry.
Someone said it. Thank you. Hearing that men have been a certain way is annoying. I get it. You're right. You're definitely right. Delon says, if we as men can be emotional and vulnerable with our partner, it removes the ability to establish trust. Thug T.
Yep.
And Delon is a real thug. So I just need you to understand what he's saying is facts.
Yeah.
If we can't be emotional with you, we're not going to trust you. If we can't be emotional with you at the same time, it's like you saying, nah, nigga, it's my turn to cry. No, you cried last time. Go ahead. You got it. Like, it don't matter who's emotional at the same time. Just be able to stand with each other in the time of the emotional need.
And that goes back to the second thing that we said, the emotion, the open communication.
Right.
Like that just wipes that completely off the table. I want you to be open, honest, vulnerable, but you can't cry.
But you can't cry when I cry.
You can't have emotions. But you can't. You can't be vulnerable. You can't. That doesn't resonate. And so I think I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because there's a lot of those things that come to play when having these conversations that are directly against each other, and finding that healthy relationship and partnership that we actually seek. So it's really unlearning all of that socialization, putting it to the side and being open to hear something different.
Yeah, Chester says, I don't feel that way. I like a man to be emotional. I want him to tap into his feelings. All that tough-ish ain't it all the time. That's right. So Chelsea, do you feel like a man can cry when you cry? If he's the one being emotional first, or if you're being emotional, he cries with you because of what you're going through, he empathizes and sympathizes with you. Do you think that it's okay for him to cry at the same time with you, or feel emotional about it in any shape, form, or fashion?
That has to be, that's a possible. Again, that shows openness. That shows that I'm actively listening to you, because if what you're going through as my partner is moving me
and it affects me,
then I'm probably going to shed a tear and be like, but hey, you went through that. What do I need to do?
Right.
But so, yeah.
If we leave it up to Carmela, can I cry this time, babe?
Don't do
it's about time to cry.
It's we're not beating up on people.
No, we're not.
We're not. We still love you. We're just like challenging.
Yeah. I'm always going to challenge in the way you think, and whether it be anybody. I just love Carmela. She's a good person. And I love challenging her thought process. That's literally what it is. That's why these podcasts are important, because you don't know what you are never taught and experienced in life.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, that's true.
Carmela dope.
Listen, that quick.
Carmela dope. Carmela is dope. She like, nah, I'm done. You ain't done, girl.
Don't be done. You better be right here.
Stay up in here. Yeah, of course. I'm not going to be like, why are you crying? Did you be surprised?
Listen, Linda, listen, there's so many people who do that to their partner. Like, you need to man up. You need to
You over here crying?
What you crying for?
But then
go to the mama. I'm going to give you something to cry.
Right. I just wanted you to be emotional. He started being emotional, showing his emotion. Then you want to turn around and be like, you up here crying? That ain't no man.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah. So, what if he went and told you, you up here crying during birth? That ain't no woman. I thought you was independent. Why you had to have an epidural? You superwoman. You got it.
Because I'm
handle
not.
Your business.
I'm not.
Right. A man being emotionally expressive is a green flag, and it's quite literally a huge feel.
Yep.
Sierra, we need to put that on your profile if you have a dating profile. Put that on your profile, CC. Okay. We're all human at the end of the day. I think men have a disadvantage because of society. Correct. They feel men should always be tough and strong. Men don't cry.
They do.
Nobody cares about our feelings.
But we do. And that's the thing. Like women, and this is something that I talk to women who are actually ready to have relationships. This is what they want. They want someone to connect emotionally.
Right.
So we can't say, I want you to be emotionally aware and available, but
not too much.
Yeah, it is what it is. You've opened it. You've given them the space. So
that's funny.
There it is.
That's funny. Sarah says, I'm not a fighter, I'm a learner. I will never fight against the truth.
Love her.
That's why Carmela is the truth.
Yep.
You should change your name to Carmela Truth McCray. That's my vote. Tell a woman that if you want to. I'm going to tell her. I ain't never scared.
He is not.
Never scared. Because accountability, and I don't do that. What is that? Double standard for men or women. I ain't never scared. I want all the smoke.
You do.
It kills me when women tell men they're acting like bitches because he's being vulnerable.
I hate that.
But that's what you wanted in the first place. You see what I'm saying? You see how this is why men, for the most part, who are logical thinkers, they look at women who think like that and they say, I'm never going to date or be with the woman like that. She'll just be single because at the end of the day, she doesn't want to recognize or she fails to realize how she's contradicting her own statements. Because men, we listen.
Mm-hmm.
We listen. We heard exactly what you said. But when we regurgitate what you said, then it goes to, no, I didn't say that. I didn't know, little me. I didn't say that. But you did. And then we call you on it. And it's the same. Men do the same thing. When women listen and they regurgitate what men said, and men be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That wasn't me.
Dumb nigga stands. I don't know. So same thing, right? Please don't misunderstand. I never said that he couldn't cry. It's just the timing. That's what we're challenging, Carmela. The timing.
Yeah.
The timing is what we're challenging because what we're saying is there is no correct timing if your partner is moved by what's going on with you.
Or what's going on in their surroundings.
Yeah. He loves you and you're telling him about what's going on with you, he's going to feel some kind of way.
Yep.
You know, he's going to feel some kind of way. I don't know if we want to talk about this next
Yes,
one.
we do.
Do we want to talk about this
next one? We want all the smoke, remember?
We did say that. I did say I did say that.
Yes.
Woo!
Quality time with you. I'm sorry. I left out the whole top word. You read
sex.
Yes.
Number 6 or 5. We lost count.
We did.
The last one on the list. Sex. Sexual variety specifically.
Right. And then quality time.
And quality time. What does that look like for women?
So this was not necessarily sex. It was more quality time.
It was quality time.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But I mean, it's that whole intimacy. Into me, you see.
Right.
And then I see into you. We see into each other.
Right. Right.
And so it's the time that we spend, how we spend that time. Again, putting all of these things together, communicating, how we being emotionally aware in that time, not just sitting there and watching a movie.
Right.
But actually engaging meaningfully with each other. We want meaningful interactions with you, with partners. We do. But we also want time away. So we want time to have our own hobbies, our own interests.
Right.
But we don't want it to be seen as, oh, I'm not interested in you anymore.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, we sometimes will just latch on because we're afraid that if I let him know that I got other things going on, he's gonna see I'm not interested. So that interdependence where we spend quality time, we have intimacy, but we trust, we communicate, we're open and honest, we have emotional availability, that we've set this foundation that we're okay to have other things going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for the men.
Yes, for the men's is
sex and quality time looks a little different.
Oh, yes, it does. It means
a lot
sex.
different. It means exactly what it means. Okay. We're not gonna beat around the bush. Ladies, I'm sorry. We want the quality time. We want to cuddle until you get too hot. Okay. We want to cuddle. All right. But for the men, for the most part, is again, it's a form of trust. Can I trust you sexually? Can you trust me sexually? Mm-hmm. This is another one that's kind of reverse, kind of like the other one. But sex is literally just the physical aspect of connecting with you physically. Talking to you, with our bodies. That's literally it. Right? And it's, again, you have this discussion with your partner the correct time, right? Especially when you're dating, about sex. You know, what does it look like for you? How many times? What are you into? What are you not into? You know, sexual likes and dislikes. And, you know, do you want to cuddle? Do you want to spoon? Do you want to, you know, do it at Macy's in the, you know, stuff like that is conversations that you
just threw that out there. Like you said, absolutely nothing, sir.
I'm just saying, some people
in the dressing room,
anywhere they can get it with their partner, especially if they're attracted to you. Because men are physical they're looking for the physical attributes. And so there's a lot of things that you women do that just turn on a man, but he doesn't want to seem like a pervert because, oh, he's sexually aroused and he wants you, he desires you, right? But he'll go in a room, tear into himself and then call it a day because he feels like if I give her my peak of my sexualness and my sexual desires at its peak or in its rawest form, I'm looked at like a pervert, like how many times is enough and blah, 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 blah. And men feel very downplayed when they have to say, well, I just wanted to please my woman. Right. I just want to be with you. I'm sorry that I desire you, you know, sometimes twice a day.
Sorry that I desire you.
Yeah, that's what men face. I'm sorry, because women reject in that time frame for their certain reasons. Right. I'm not saying they don't have reasons.
Let's say this. Remember at the very beginning of this conversation, how we've been socialized to think about sex.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me take a sip.
So if we have not been socialized to engage in sexual behavior, if we have a lot of shame and guilt around sexuality,
right,
and what that looks like,
right,
and you have a partner, you have a man who is clearly okay with their sexual drive, and they want to be with you. They're, again, let's be clear, it's not they're trying to be with you and them and them and them. They're just trying to be with you. And you're like, no, I don't. Then that's probably going to be some difficulty right there.
Yeah. Turning a man down sexually, using sex as a leverage, all of that stuff can get you in a world of undeniable, unbreakable situation, because for that man, he feels ashamed. He feels physically, mentally, and emotionally ashamed that he can't be his open, true sexual self with you, which was hard for him to do in the first place.
Right.
Because he had to trust you in order to do that.
Right.
Right. And as soon as he does that or gives a little bit, he's going to give a little bit, dip his toe in the water to see how it is. And depending on your reaction is what he's going to determine how he moves forward from that point on. Carmela says, should that be a conversation? Yeah, it should be a conversation. All of this stuff should definitely be a conversation, especially at the beginning of the dating and relationship phase. Like before you get to dating, again, vetting and knowing who you're with.
Right.
But you also have to have that conversation with yourself.
Say that again.
You have to have that conversation, that same conversation you want to have with that other person on these 5-6 things we talked about. You got to have that conversation with yourself. Again, a lot of you don't know yourselves, like yourselves, understand yourselves. Therefore, you don't know what you like and want and or desire sexually. You just know what you've been doing all this time that's been semi-working for you. And that's on the men and women's side.
So let me ask you this question, hun.
Yeah.
So if we've been married, I don't know, 5 years, and, you know, we're rationing out sex, like we have sex 3 times a year. your birthday, my birthday, and the anniversary. How you feel about that? You see, I couldn't even really get it out. I'm sorry. I was laughing. Tell me what you feel.
I refuse to feel like Oliver Twist for some vagina.
I don't get
more porridge, please, sir. More. No, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, that's too much. Yeah, that's yeah. So this is like, I know in some religious circles, we have folks that are not having sex outside of a relationship or inside of a relationship. They're not having sex with themselves, much less anybody else.
Listen.
And so it's not until you are really okay with you, your body, your all of the things, that you can engage with somebody else. Like, this goes back to like really healing your wounds and really knowing you authentically.
Yeah. Our camera's about to run out of battery. Yeah.
But we could talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, we still could talk. Don't worry. If the camera shuts off, don't worry. We still have the conversation, and we're going to keep talking, and we're going to keep sharing the screen. So Oliver says, this question is for y'all and people in the chat. Is sex a deal breaker for y'all? Hopefully my question makes sense.
Not having sex or having sex.
Yeah, you got to be more specific. Yeah. How do you communicate when you're touched out and a man is still wanting to express their affection for you? LOL. That's when an issue for me, because like before, for me before, like if he touches me once or more, I'll scream.
Right. That's something you two are going to have to talk about.
Yeah, that's a conversation piece right there, because again, there are limits to men's bodies and women's bodies. For men, I mean, he going to start shooting out powder, it ain't going to be nothing coming out. Right. But for women, it's a different thing. It looks different for them. It can be painful. It can hurt. Mm-hmm. Right.
And again, if we're just talking about touching, not sex, right? There's a difference.
Right.
But if you're talking about sex, that's different. But touching, like maybe there's trauma or something like that, or maybe some medical issues. Remember, we did the video about, are you ready for sex? And we talked about some of those things.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready for sex and sex within your relationship. But you can say, not right now, of course. You can, this is your body. Please be in charge of it.
Definitely.
But also know that you want to have a conversation with your partner in understanding of the why, because sometimes that can lead to my partner not feeling like I desire them or want them. And so maybe it's doing other things.
Yeah.
I think even when we're talking about having sex, people just think we're talking about penetration.
That's all they see.
There's a wide variety of things that we can do as far as sex is concerned. It could be pleasing someone orally. It could be stop it, Talon. It could be doing a lot of different things. And so, that's a conversation. So again, you got to think outside of the box. If this is your person, if this is what y'all signed up to do, it should be a conversation, for one. For number two, it can't be something that you use, as a weapon, like twice or three times a year. Like,
baby.
No.
Right. Rationing that.
No.
And men use it too, but not.
Oh,
like
they do.
Women, not like.
Oh
women.
my God! I'm thinking of somebody, but no.
Yeah. Listen. So, sex and sexual variety looks different for men and women, and what we want to say on this topic is, have the conversation. If you're all touched out, that means you don't physically want him to touch you. That is something as a form of rejection. That's how they're going to perceive it. And perception is everything when operating in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So in order for him not to perceive it that way, men do this too. Have a conversation to where, this is why I just don't want you to touch me in that manner. Because maybe it's not just to you, it's a sexual touch, but to him, he just touched you. He put his arm around you, whatever, right? Or for you just want to lay on his chest. But for him, he's like, you too close. You trying to get to something else. We just got through doing whatever. I'm trying to play the game. Have that conversation with that person and make it abundantly clear, no matter what's at stake, no matter what's at risk, you make it abundantly clear, this is what this means. I don't want you to feel rejected, but this is what this means. and be open and vulnerable and talking about why it came to that conclusion.
Right. There's a podcast that I did about your body and healing some of the trauma around that, and different zones and erotic zones and feeling pleasure and what doesn't feel good. Your body remembers lots of different things. And so if you have been touched in a particular way and you are being triggered by your partner about that touch, you might need to talk about that to a professional. So yeah, it's lots. Again, are you ready for sex?
Are you ready?
So I don't know if his question was answered about sex, because
is sex a deal breaker?
Because it is for some people. I have clients that are not engaging in sex. I have clients who are virgins and they are not 18. They are in their 20s and 30s, and that's okay. It's okay. It is. Even any sexual behavior, it is. They're like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I believe in real virgins, not born again virgins. I'm sorry,
and that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. They've never been penetrated for real, never. And so I have feelings about that. They're my feelings. I don't believe that the person, the first person you married should be the person to make you go, ooh, or
no.
And then the relationship is horrible, and then you stuck, and then you got other things to deal with. So, but I feel like you should be that person to make you say, ooh, first.
Know your own body.
Got to. Yeah. You got to know all of these. Again, I say this all the time. There are women I know who have never looked at themselves, and I'm not talking about their face. I'm talking about their vagina.
But men every day got their hands in their pants.
I don't. Woo. So yeah, you've got to know you.
Be direct, Oliver. That's what it's for, buddy. Be direct. That's what this show is for.
Yeah, be direct. We're here.
Remember, clear and concise communication. So be direct. We got a little time left.
Just a little
bit. This thing might cut off.
This has been interesting.
Very good conversation. And we appreciate you guys for participating, because again, we have to have these kind of conversations in the beginning to get you ready for a solid relationship, right? Something that you can use and you can grow and build on. And you have to implement these things before you get to the dating phase by having a conversation with yourself. And that's what we want to have. These top five is basically for you to get to know yourself.
Right.
Okay. Basically for you to get to know yourself. Cynthia says, excellent podcast. Of course, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Carmilla.
I'm like, Cynthia, you have renamed Carmilla.
Oh, Carmilla the Truth McCray.
There it is.
That is it.
That is it.
Carmilla. I need to see that next time, Carmilla. Carmilla the Truth McCray. the Truth. D-A Truth McCray.
So I'm wondering, well, I always come back to this, the socialization that we have experienced as people of color, in particular, people in the African diaspora, is meant for us to be apart. I need people to understand it.
It's a plan.
So when we know the power that we have together, someone said, we are a force together. A force.
A force.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's truth. We are a force together. And so when we know how to come together, I think a lot of times people are like, well, I'm giving up parts of me. You're not really giving up parts of you. You are learning, you're growing, you're stretching. It's that reciprocity, that give and take.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically, you have to look at it as yourself as a puzzle and what fits your piece without force, right? Mm-hmm. If this part of the puzzle fits, if somebody else has a different piece of a puzzle, of course, because they're different, and they fit your piece of the puzzle effortlessly, that's the kind of combination and synchronization that you want to have in your relationship or starting a relationship.
Yeah.
So look at it like that. Don't look at it like you're giving up a part of yourself. Now, when you get into said relationship and you have the open communication and you're doing everything right and everything is going how it's supposed to go, little bumps in the road here and there, you want to be able to adjust and grow, because now these two pieces of the puzzle are becoming the full picture. Right. And you have to decide what that full picture looks like now that you are operating as a full picture and not two pieces of the puzzle. Right. The problem is a lot of us get into the full picture mode while still thinking like they're still a separate piece of the puzzle, which causes the divisiveness because now you feel like I'm giving up a piece of myself, right?
Yeah.
When you should have been thinking a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Okay. Sierra says a movement by ourselves, but not a force when we're together, or whatever Fabulous said in that song. I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Sir. Baby, I'm good all by myself. Baby, you can have whatever. I don't know. I don't know what he said. That's probably what he said.
No, it's not.
Great discussion, fam. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
He said fabulous too. Did you get the top one?
Discussion was really, wait.
Go down. Yep.
Yeah. Neil felt, yeah.
He felt it. Yeah. Everybody felt it.
Not me. A real thug. Not me. Tell you. Oliver, you gotta be direct. What was that question, bro?
He's not. He's scared.
He's scared.
He's scared.
It's okay.
You scared. You scared.
It's
you
scared.
I'm sorry.
You scared. You scared. You know what I ain't scared of?
What?
That plate in the refrigerator.
You know what?
I am resting.
I'm starving. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
You guys, it was amazing. Thank you so much. Please, if you need resources, go to either one of our pages separately, but theobsidianluxgroup.com is our joint page. We appreciate you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Please. Hit that notification bell. We are doing good as far as having, 86 or 7 subscribers? 88 subscribers. We're trying to get to 100. We want you guys to be a part of that mission. So definitely share with a friend and tell them to like, share, and subscribe. The better we get the message out, the more of a conversation we can have and the more of an impact we can make on our own communities. All right. It's time to go?
Yes.
Good
How
night.
about this? How about this? You want to go on a date?
I do want to go on a date.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys. It's that time to go on a date. Wait, where are we going? I'm not allowed to ask. That's the one thing. I'm not allowed to ask. Okay.
Never.
All right. Hold on. We got one more comment before we go.
Oh, we got a comment. Sorry.
I need my puzzle completed, then mounted. That's what he said. That's what she said.
Oh, wow.
Carmelo.
That's what
Carmelo, you about to lose your truth status.
We about to.
You know what? Not today.
We're going to talk.
Not on Jesus' Sunday.
We're going to talk. Bye.
I'm going to holler at y'all.